Shri Shri Ramayana, Shri Ramayana, Shri Ramayana, Shri Ram, Shri Ramayana, Shri Ramayana, Shri Ram, Shri Ram, Shri Bharata and his party took a dip into the Triveni, the confluence of the Ganga, Yamuna, and Saraswati, the chief of the sacred places, and bowed their head to the Sikh Bharadwaja. Bharata reverently received his order and blessing, and protesting himself, made much supplication, accompanied by expert guides, and taking the whole host along with him. He proceeded on his journey with his thought directed towards Chitrakuta. Holding Sri Rama's friend Guha by the hand, he walked along like the very incarnation of love. He had no shoes and no umbrella over his head, and his love, self-discipline, austerity, and piety were unfazed. He asked his friend to give an account of the wandering of the Lakshmana, Sri Rama, and Sita, while Guha narrated the same in the soft accent. When he saw the spots where Sri Rama had rested and the trees under which he had halted, the emotion within his breast could not be repressed. The, the gods who behaved his conditions rained down flowers, the earth grew soft, and the road became pleasant. The clouds afforded him shade all along and delightful, and the excellent breeze kept blowing. The journey was not so agreeable to Srirama as it proved to be for Bharata. The numberless beings, both animate and inanimate, they saw the Lord or were seen by the Lord, in their turn had been rendered fit for the highest estate. The sight of the Bharata now finally rid them of the disease of the transmigration. This was no great thing for Bharata, whom Sri Rama ever cherished in his heart. Even they who utter the name of the Rama only once in this world not only reach the other shore themselves, but are also able to take other across. As for Bharata, he is dearly loved by Sri Rama and his younger brother too. No wonder then that the journey should be delightful to him. Siddhas, a class of the celestial being, saints and great saints observed this and rejoiced at heart to behold Bharata. Indra, the chief of the gods, was filled with anxiety when he saw Bharata's power. The world is good to the good and wild for the wild, he said to his preceptor, the sage Brahaspati. Something must be done, my lord, to prevent the meeting between Rama and Bharata. Sri Rama is scrupulous, scrupulous. Scrupulous means what do you mean by the scrupulous? Scrupulous, scrupulous, scrupulous means careful, thorough, and extremely attentive. Careful, thorough, and extremely attentive to the detail. Careful, thorough, and extremely attentive to the detail. Scrupulous, careful, thorough, and extremely attentive to the detail. Careful, thorough, and the having morality, acting in strict regard to what is considered right or proper. Acting in a strict regard for what is considered right or proper. Acting in strict regard for what is considered right or proper. So scrupulous by nature and one by the love, and one by the love, and one by the love. While Bharta is an ocean of the affection, what has already been accomplished thus threatened to be undone. Therefore, finding out some stratagem, let us use it as a remedial measures. Remedial measures. Remedial means giving as intended remedy to cure. Remedial means concerned with the correction of faulty faculty, study habits, and the raising of a people's general competencies. Concerned with the correction of faulty study habits, concerned with the correction of faulty study habits, and raising of the people's general competency. Remedial measures. Hearing his words, the preceptor of the gods smiled and realized that, though endowed with thousand eyes, Indra was really blind, lacked discriminate. He said, if anyone practiced deceptions on the devotee of the Shriram, the Lord of Maya, it requires on the artificer himself. So, King of the God, last time we did something knowing that it had Sri Rama's tacit approval. Tacit approval, tacit approval. Tacit means tacit approval. Tacit understood or implied without being stated. Understood or implied without being stated. Unspoken, unspoken, tacit approval, but by resorting to some underhand means, this time we are sure to meet with disaster. Listen, O Lord of the God, it is Sri Rama's nature not to be angry at any offense against himself, but he who sins against his devotee is surely consumed in the fire of his wrath. The story is well known both in the world as well as in the Vedas. The sage Durvasa knows this glorious trait of Sri Rama's characters. Who is there who loves Rama as Bharta's loves? Word repeats Rama's name where Rama repeats name of Bharta. Never harbor in your mind, O Lord of the immortals, even the thought of frustrating the purpose of the devotee of Sri Rama, the chief of Raghulai. For the same will we bring you infamy in this world, sorrow in the next, and series of woes in your day-to-day life. Hear our advice, O King of the God. A devotee is supremely dear to Sri Rama. He is gratified through service rendered to his devotee, and bears great enmity to those who are hostile to them. Even though the Lord is allied to all without either love or anger, and receive neither sin nor virtue, neither merit nor demerit, and even though he has made fate the ruling factor in this world, so that one reaps what one sows, yet according as one possesses the heart of the devotee or an unbeliever, he appeared to be impartial, hostile in his dealing. Though devoid of attributes, unattached, free from pride, and ever unchanged, Sri Rama has assumed the form with attributes yielding to the love of his devotee. Sri Rama has never respected the wish of his devotee. The Vedas and Puranas, as well as saints and gods, can be a testimony to this. Bearing this in mind, give up our perversity and cherish idle love for Bharta's feet. Sri Rama devotees are actively engaged doing good to others, shares the sorrow of others, and are compassionate by nature. And Bharta is a very priest jewel of devotee. Therefore, be not afraid of him, O ruler of gods. The Lord is true to his words and friend of the gods, while Bharta obeys Sri Rama's order. You are feeling uneasy only because you are dominated by self-interest. Bharta is not to blame at all. It is your ignorance which is responsible for your uneasiness. The chief of the god Indra was overjoyed at heart to hear these valuable words of the heavenly preceptor, and his depression of spirit was gone. The Lord of Celestial therefore rained down showers and gladly began to extol Bharta's noble disposition. In this way Bharta went on his way, while Sikhs and Siddhas were filled with envy at the sight of his condition. Whenever he heaved a long sigh with the words Rama on his lips, it seemed as if love overflowed on all sides. Even Adamant and the stone melted at his words. The love of the citizens was beyond descriptions. Halting at one place on this side, the party arrived on the bank of the Yamuna, and Bhakta's eyes were filled with tears as he gazed on its dark water, which reminded him of Sri Rama's swarthy form. At the sight of the lovely stream that possessed the same hue as the person of Sri Rama, chief of Raghunatha, Bhatta and his party were plunged into an ocean of grief on account of separation from Sri Rama, and were saved from drowning only by boarding the bark of discretion. That day they halted on the bank of the Yamuna. Everyone was provided with the comforts according to the occasion. In course of the night, innumerable boats of the untold varieties came from all the ghats. At daybreak, the whole party crossed the river in a single trip. Everyone was pleased with the service rendered by the Nishada chief in this behalf. After performing their ablutions and bowing their head to the river Yamuna, the two brothers Bharata and Shatrughna resumes their journey with his lord of Nishada. At the head of the line is chosen vehicle travels the principal Sikh Vamadeva, Vashishta and so on, followed by the royal host. Next followed the two royal brothers, both on foot. Their ornaments, costume, and style of dress were all of the very simplest. They were accompanied by their servants, friends, and the minister's sons, and went with their thought fixed on the Lakshmana, Sita, and the Lord of Raghu. They lovingly saluted each and every place where Sri Rama had neither encamped or rested a while. Hearing the news of the man and the woman who lived by the roadsides, left their household work, and ran after the royal travellers, and having seen their comely form and affection, they all rejoiced on attaining the reward of their life. One woman lovingly said to another, "Friends, can they be Rama and Lakshmana or not? Their age, constitutions, complexion, and comeliness of form are the same dear companion. Their amiability and affection are also similar, and their gait to resemble that of Rama and Lakshmana. Only their dress is not the same, as they are not accompanied by Sita, my friend, and an army complete in its four limbs, that is, horse and foot, elephants and carrot, is marching before them. Moreover, they do not wear a cheerful countenance, and their heart is heavy with sorrow. This difference makes me doubt their identity with Rama and Lakshmana, O friend." Her argument appealed to the rest of the women. They said, "There is none so clever as she," applauding the latter and admiring the truth of her remarks. Another woman spoke in sweet accents. She lovingly narrated the whole episode as to how the festivities in connection with Sri Rama's installation had been obstreperous. She then began to praise Bharta's amiability, affection, genuine disposition, and good luck. Journeying on foot, living on fruits, and relinquishing the sovereignty bestowed by his father, Bharta is proceeding to pursue the chief of Raghuline to return. Who can equal Bharta today? Bharta's brotherly affection, devotion, and conduct dispel the woe and evil of those who talk or hear of them. Whatever may be said with regard to them, dear friend, will be quite inadequate. It is no wonder that a brother of Rama should be like that. All of us who have seen Bharata and his younger brother have become praiseworthy among women. Hearing of his virtues and seeing his forlorn state, they lamented, "Surely he is not a fit son for such a vile mother as Kaikeyi." Someone said, "The queen mother Kaikeyi is not to blame at all. All this has been accomplished by the God who is so favorably disposed to us. So of what account are we vile women, excluded both from secular and the Vedic rites, and impure by birth as well as by doing, who dwell in a accursed region, woodland, and is a rash village, and are the worst of our class, and we should have such a sight, which is a reward of great religious merit." There was a similar rejoicing and wonder in every village. It seemed as if a celestial tree had sprung up in a desert. At the sight of Bharta, the good fortune of the people by the roadside manifested itself, as though by the will of the Providence Prayaga had been brought within easy reach of the people of Shimla. Hearing his own praises as well as Sri Rama's virtue, Bharata went on his way thinking of Sri Rama. Whenever he happened to see holy water, he bathed in them, and whenever he caught sight of hermitage or temple, he made obeisance to it, asking in his heart only one thing, that is devotion to the lotus feet of the Sita and Rama, whoever he met, be he a Kola or any other forester, or even if he were an employed, a religious student, a recluse, or a hermit, he would salute him and inquire in which part of the forest were Lakshmana, Rama, and Vidya's daughter. They told him all the news of the Lord, and the sight of Bharata obtained the reward of their life. Those persons who said they had seen the Lord's doing well were counted as dear as Sri Rama and Lakshmana themselves. Thus, in polite phrase, he would make inquiries from all and hear the story of Sri Rama's forest life. Halting that day in a suitable place, he resumes his journey early next morning, invoking the Lord of Raghu's like Bharta. Everyone who accompanied him launched for a sight of Sri Rama. Auspicious omens occurred to everyone. They had happy trembling in their eyes and arms. Bharata and his whole host rejoiced at the thought that they would be able to see Sri Rama, and the sting of their sorrow would come to an end. each indulged in his own fancy, and all when intoxicated with the wine of the love. Their limbs were getting out of control, their legs tottered, and they spoke words in the incoherent way due to emotions. She, Ama's friend Gua, presently pointed to the Bharata creature of the mountain Kamagiri, which was naturally charming, and in the vicinity of which of the bank of the river Payasni dwelt. Vicinity means vicinity. Vicinity. Vicinity means the area near to surrounding a particular place. Vicinity. Area near to surrounding a particular place. Vicinity. Vicinity surrounding area or district. So the particular state of being near. Vicinity of which on the bank of river Payasi dwell the two brothers ShriRam and Lakshmana, along with Sita, catching sight of the mountain. All fell protest on the ground with the cries of glory to Shri Rama, the life of the Jinka's daughter. The royal host was so overwhelmed with emotion as though the chief of Raghuline had turned back towards Ayodhya. Bharata's love at that time was more than Shesha the thousand-headed serpent king could describe. It is an unapproachable to the poet as the bliss to absorption into the Brahma to those who are tainted by egotism and minus. Being all overpowered by love for the chief of the Raghuline, they had covered a distance of only 4 miles by the time the sun set. Perceiving suitable site and water close by, they halted, and the close of the night, the beloved of the Shriram resumed his journey. There Sri Rama awoke while it was yet dark. Sita saw in a dream that very night as if Bharata had come with the retinue and that his body was tormented by the agony of separation from his Lord. All who had accomplished him were sad at heart, miserable and afflicted, while her mother-in-law she found changed in appearance. On hearing of Sita's dream, Sri Rama's eyes filled with tears, and he who rid others of their sorrow became sorrowful. This dream Lakshmana bodes not good. Somebody will break terrible bad news. Saying so, he took his bath with the brother and worshipping the enemy of Tripura, Lord Shiva paid his respects to holy men. After adoring the gods and reverencing the hermit, he sat down gazing to the north. There was a dust in the air, and the host of birds and the beasts had taken to the flight and panic and were making their way to the Lord's hermitage. Says Tusa, he stood up when he saw this and wondered in his heart what could be the reason. Presently the Puras and Kirtas came and told him all the news. When he heard the delightful words, he felt overjoyed at heart. A thrill ran through his body, and his eyes that resembles the eternal lotus, says his filled with the tears of affection. Sita's lord become anxious the very next moment. What can be the reason of the Bharta's arrival? Then somebody came and spoke to him. He has with him no small army, complete in his 4 limbs, that is foot, horse, elephants, and the carrot. Hearing this, Sri Ramas felt much disturbed. On the one hand, there was his father's commands, on the other, his regard for his younger brother Bharata. Realizing Bharata's disposition in his heart, the Lord found no propositions to fix his mind upon. Then he consoled himself with the thought of the Bharata was submissive, good, and reasonable. Lakshmana saw that the Lord was troubled at heart and spoke what prudence demands on the occasion. I make bold, my Lord, so say something unasked, but a servant cease to be impertinent if his impertinence is not inopportunate. You, my master, are the creature of the All-Wise, madam. Yet I am your servant, tell you my own mind. You, my master, are loving by nature and clueless of heart, and storehouse of the amiability and the affection. You love and trust everyone and know all to be just like yourself, who gives to the pleasure of the sense are seized with infatuation on attaining power and reveal their true nature. Bharta was righteous, good and wise, and his devotion to the Lord's feet is known to the whole world. But now that he has attained Sri Rama's your position as a ruler of Ayodhya, even he has transgressed the bound of the rightness, finding an adverse situation and knowing that you are alone in the forest. This Billy and the big brother has plotted an evil design, and after making due preparations, he come to make his sovereignty secure planning all sort of the big schemes. The two brothers have collected an army and marched here. If they had no ill intention and doubly at heart, who should like to bring carrots, horses, and elephants But what should one blame Bharata for nothing when we know that anyone in this world would be driven mad on attaining sovereignty? The moon god committed adultery with his wife of his guru, the said Brahaspati, while Nosha mounted a palki borne by Brahmins, and there was none so vile as King Vena, an enemy of the established usage as well as the Vedic injunctions. King Shastrabahu, Indra, the lord of Celestial, and King Trishankhu, father of the Harishchandra. Which of these was not brought into disrepute by the intoxication of the kingly power? Bharata has resorted to a right expedients, for one should have leave no trace of one's enemy or debt in any case. But he has made one mistake in that he has despised Sri Rama yourself as forlorn, and he will realize his mistake with leniencies today when he beholds Sri Rama your indigent face on the battlefield. Even as he said so, he forgot his love of property, and the tree of his bellicose spirit burst into the flowers in the shape of the holy creations. Adoring the Lord's feet and placing the dust on his head, he spoke, revealing his own real and natural might. Pray do not take offense, my Lord, if I tell you that Bharata has provoked me not a little. After all, how long shall I endure this and restrain my patience when my Lord yourself is with me and the bow in my hand? A Kshatriya warrior by caste and born in the race of the Raghu, I am known throughout the world as a servant of the Shri Rama yourself. How then can I put up with such insult? What is so low as the dust on the road? But if you were to kick it up, it would rise to your head. As he rose and with joined palm asked leaves to meet Bharata in an encounter, it seemed as if the heroic sentiment itself had awoke from sleep, binding up the matted lock on his head and fastening the quiver to his waist. He strung his bow and took an arrow in his hand. Let me distinguish myself as a servant of Sri Rama today and teach Bharata a lesson in the battle, reaping the fruit of their contempt for Sri Rama. Let the two brothers sleep on the couch on the battlefield. It is well that the whole host has collected at one place. I shall therefore give vent to my past anger, even as lion, the king of the beasts, tears to pieces a herd of the elephant, or such a hawk catches a carries of a lark, so shall I lightly overthrow on the field Bharata, as well as his younger brother Shatrugna and all their host. Even if Lord Shankara come to his, I swear by Sri Rama that I will kill him in the battle. Seeing Lakshmana speak with such vehemency and fury, and hearing his solemn oath, all the Swedes trembled with fear, while their rulers were anxious to flee away in panic. Hearing his solemn oath, all the Swedes trembled. The world was seized with terror, and the voice was heard in the air extolling the enormous strength of Lakshmana's arm. Who can tell, dear child, nay, whoever knows your might and the glory? But before doing anything, one must judge whether it is right or wrong. Then everyone would approve of it. They who act impulsively and repent afterwards are anything but wise. So declare the Vedas and the Purana. On hearing this voice from the heaven, Lakshmana felt abashed, but both Sri Rama and Lord Sita greeted him and said, "What you have said, dear Lakshmana, is sound wisdom. The intoxication of the kingly power is the worst of all. But of those rulers who have tasted it, they alone lose their head, who have never waited on the assembly of saints. As for Bharata, I tell you, Lakshmana, in the whole of the God creation, I have never seen or heard of anyone so good as he. Bharata would never be intoxicated with sovereign power, even if he attained to the position of Brahma, Vishnu, or Shiva. What can a few drops of Kaji even splits the ocean of milk? Darkness may swallow the midday sun, and sooner may the heaven be absorbed into the clouds. Or the jar-born sage Agastya, who is stated to have drunk of the ocean in the single draught, be drowned in the water collected in a cow's footprint. Nay, the earth may abandon its natural forbearance, and Mount Meru be blown away by the puff of the wind discharged from the mouth of the mosquito. But Bharata will never be intoxicated by kingly power, O brother Lakshmana. I swear by you as well as our father that there is no brother so good and innocent as Bharata. God, dear brother, clears the words by mixing the milk of the goodness with the water of the evils, while Bharata is a swan born in the lake of the solar rays that has shifted goodness from the evil. Choosing the While Bharata is a swan born in the lake of the solar rays that has shifted goodness from the evil, choosing the goodness from the evil, choosing the milk of the goodness and discarding the water of evil. He has illuminated the world by his glory. Choosing the milk of the goodness and discharging the water of the evil, illuminate the world by his glory. Even as the Lord of Raghu extolled Bharta's virtue, amiability, and the a noble disposition, he was drowned in the ocean of love. On hearing the speech of ShriRama, the chief of Raghuland, and seeing his affection for Bharata, all the gods were full of applause and said, "Who has in such a gracious Lord as ShriRama?" Had Bharata not been born into the world, who on this earth would have championed the cause of virtue in its entirety? Who else than you, O Lord of the Raghu, can know Bharata's good qualities, which are unapproachable even to the race of the bards? On hearing the words of the gods, Lakshmana, Shriram, Sita were more delighted than word can tell. Shri Ramayana. Then there Bharata, with all his host, on hearing the speech of Sherchi Farmona and seeing his affection Bharata, all the gods were full of applause. Such a gracious Lord at ShriRama. Had Bharata not been born into the world, who on this earth would have championed the cause of virtue in its entirety? Who, as the new Lord of Raghu, can know Bharata's good qualities, which are unapproachable even to the race of the bards? On hearing the words of the gods, Lakshmana, Shriram, and Sita were more delighted than words can tell. Their Bharata, with all their host, bathed in the sacred Mandarakani, then, leaving all the people on the riverside and taking permission of his mother's preceptor, Sheikh Vashishta, and the minister Sumatra, he proceeded to spot where Sita and Shirama were, taking the Nishada chief and his younger brother Shatrugna with him. As he thought of what his mothers had done, he felt diffidence and formed ill conjectures of every kind in his mind. God forbid that Sri Rama's Lakshmana and Sita leave the place on hearing my name uh, and shift to some other place, taking me to be an accomplice of my mother. Nothing that he might do would be too much, but looking to his own self, I am sure he will forgive my faults and receive me kindly. Whether he shone me as one possessing a black heart or welcomed me as his own servant, my only refuge is Sri Ramashu. He is really a noble master, while the whole blame lies with the servant myself. The only being deserving of fame in this world are the chatka birds and the fish, who are clever in keeping ever fresh their vow of fidelity and love. Revolving these thoughts in his mind, he went on his journey, his whole body rendered powerless by diffidence and affection. The sinful act of his mother's carcase dragged him back as if were, while the strength of his devotion pressed him forward. Foremost among the resolute as he was, whenever he thought of the Sri Rama's good nature, his feet moved quickly along the way. Varta Gate at the time resembled the movement of the waterfly carried along the stream. Seeing Bharta's anxiety and affection at the moment, the Nishadachi forget all about himself. A specious omen occurred, and the Nishada chief, after hearing of that, reflecting on them, said, "Anxiety will pass away, giving place to the delight, but in the end there will be sorrow." Bharata knew every word of his servant Guha to be true, and proceeding further, he drove near to the hermitage. When he saw the forest and the mountain range, he was glad as a hungry man on getting excellent food, just as the people tormented by the fear of calamities and afflicted by a threefold trouble, as well as by the influence of the evil stars and by the Philistine feel happy on migrating to a well-governed and the prosperous country. Bharata too had similar feelings. The natural wealth of the forest grew while ShriRama lives there. Even as the people rejoiced on securing a good king, the charming forest was the sacred realm referred to here. Discretion was the king who ruled over it, while discretion was his counselor. Discretion means, what do you mean by the discretion? Discretion means the quality of behaving in such a way to avoid causing offense and revealing confidential information. What to be done in a particular situation. The freedom to decide what should be done in a particular situation is called the discretion. The freedom to decide what should be done in a particular situation is called the discretion. Discretion, a freedom to decide. Individual choice or judgment is called the discriminant. Power of the free decision is called the discriminant. Power of free decision is called the discriminant. Discrimination was the king who ruled over it, while dispassion was his counselor. Dispassion. What do you mean by dispassion? Dispassion means emotion. Lack of strong emotion or personal feeling is called the dispassion. Lack of strong emotion or personal feeling is called the dispassion. Lack of strong emotion or personal feeling is called the dispassion. Lack of dispassion. Lack of absence of patience, coolness. Absence of patience, coolness is called the dispassion. The extra coolness is called the dispassion. Coolness. Absence of patience is called the coolness. Is called the dispassion. Was his counselor. Coolness means moderately cold, lacking in warmth. Marked by steady was his counselor. Likewise, the five Yamas and the five Niyamas constitute the champions of the realms. Realms, champions of the realms. Realms means the defense of the realms. A field or dominion of activity or interest are the realm. A field or dominion of interest or activity are the realms. Realms. Mount Chitrakuta stood for its capital, while peace and good understanding represents the virtuous and the lovely queens. In this way, the good king was complete in all the limbs of the good states, and depending as he did on Shirama's feet, his heart was full of zeal. Heart was full of zeal. Heart was full of zeal. Zeal means great energy or enthusiasm or pursuit or cause of an objective is called the zeal. Zeal. Zeal means eagerness and adherent interest in pursuit something. Eagerness and adherent interest in pursuing something is called zeal. Having conquered King Delusions with all his host, having conquered King Delusion, having conquered means having been overcome by taken control by military forces called the conquered. Overcome and taken control of by the military force is called the conquered. Overcome and taken control of by the military force is called the conquered. Having conquered, having conquered King Delusion with all his hosts, King Discretions had undisputed sway in the capital. Undisputed sway. Sway means sway means sway means sway sway means sway sway means sways sway means sway means sway means sway means and sway means sway sway joy having conquered of delusion king of delusion king of delusion. Sway means move or cause to move slowly or rhythmically backwards and forwards. Rhythmically movement from side is called the sway. Sway means action or intense of swaying and oscillating, sweeping emotion, controlling influence, dominion. The discussion had an undisputed sway in the capital. Undisputed sway in the capital. Discussion had delusions. Conquered king delusion. Having conquered king delusions, and with host king discretions, had an undisputed sway in his capital. Enjoy prosperity and plenty regained everywhere. Joy, prosperity, and plenty regained everywhere. The numerous hermits' habitations in the forest regions were like so many towns, cities, villages, and the hermits. The numerous hermitage habitations in the forest regions were like so many towns, cities, villages, and hermits, comprising the king dominion. Comprising the king dominion. Comprising means consist of, be made up. Consist of, be made up. Comprising of king dominion. Consist of king dominion. King's dominion. Dominion means dominion. Dominion means dominion. The term dominion is used to refer to several self-governing nations. Dominion means dominion. Dominion means sovereignty or control. Sovereignty or control is called the dominion. Sovereignty or control is called the dominion. Sovereignty or control is called the dominion. Sovereignty and control is called the dominion. Supreme authority is called the dominion. Self-government nation is called the dominion. The many birds of the various colors and the beasts of the different variety constitute its countless subjects. The hares, elephants, the many birds of the various colors and the beasts of the very different varieties constitute its countless subjects. The numerous hermitage, countless subjects, many birds of the various colors and beasts of the various varieties were their countless subjects, countless subjects. The hares, elephants, lion, tigers, boars, buffaloes, and bulls presented a sight which attracts admiration. Shading their natural animosity, they roamed about together like an army, complete in all four its limbs. Rills of the water flowed, and the mad elephants trampled. Their noise resembled the beating of the cattle drum of the various kinds. Chakwakas, chakoras, chatkas, parrots, and cuckoos and so on made delightful and the merry concert. Delightful and the merry concert. Merry means what do you mean? Merry. Merry means cheerful and lively is called the merry. Cheerful and lively is called the merry. Cheerful and the concert. Cheerful and lively. Cheerful and lively is called the merry concert. Concert. Cheerful and lively is called the merry concert. Concert means a musical performance given in publicly based several performances of the several compositions. Agreement or harmony is called the concert. Agreement or merry concert. Concert means agreement and harmony is called the concert. 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 Song of bees hums and peacock danced. Song peacock dance. Dance means move rhythmically, musically, typically followed a set of sequence of steps. Set of sequence of steps called a dance. Movement in rhythmically is a set of sequence of steps. Dance with showed as it were that there was universal rejoicing in the prosperous kingdom. Universal rejoicing in the prosperous kingdom. Prosperous. Universal rejoicing in the prosperous. Prosperous means successful in material terms. Successful in material prosperous kingdoms. Steeples, trees, and the blade of grass alike were blossoming and bore fruit. Creepers means any plant that grow along the ground. Creep plant and its very branches. Creepers, trees and blades of grass alike. Trees and blades of alike were blossoming and bore fruits. Alike were blossoming and bore fruit. The entire community thus were festive and the delightful appearance. Festive and delightful. Festive means festive. Festive means relating to festival, especially in case cheerful and joyfully celebrated. Cheerful and joyfully celebrated. Fe- Festive and delightful appearances. Delightful. Delightful means delightful. Causing delight, charming. Causing delight, charming. Causing delight, charming is called a delightful. Causing delight, charming is called a delightful. Causing delight and charming is called a delightful. Causing delight and charming is called a delightful. The way that someone something looks is called the appearance. The way someone something looks is called the appearances. Beholding the beauty of Sri Rama's hills, Chitrakuta, Bharta's heart overflowed with love. Beholding the beauty of Sri Rama's hills, beholding the beauty, beholding, see or observe something especially remarkable, impressive nature. Beholding, see or observe someone or something especially remarkable, impressive nature is called the beholding. See or observe someone or something especially remarkable, impressive. Behold your Lord and Prince. Behold the botanical garden were a wonder of behold. Behold means see or observe something especially remarkable and impressive is called the behold. Beholding the beauty of the Sri Rama's hill Chitrakuta. Beauty means a combination of qualities such as shape, color, or form that pleases the aesthetic sense, especially the sight. Beauty of Sri Rama's hill Chitrakuta. Bharata's heart overflowed with love, even as ascetic who has reaped the fruit of his penis. Fruit of his penis. Penis means punishment, inflicting oneself, outward expression, punishment that is called outer expression. Penis means an act of self-abasement, mortification, or devotion to perform a show sorrow or repetency for the sin. Devotion to perform to show sorrow. Right. Something such as hardship or penalty resembling an act of penis. Something such as hardship or penalty resembling act of penis is called the penis. Penis rejoice on the completion. Penis, who has reaped the fruit of his penis, 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 rejoice on the completion of his work. Rejoice on the completion. Rejoice means feel or show great joy or delight. Feel or show great joy or delight. Feel or show rejoice means feel or show great joy or delight. Completion of his work. Past 24 30 days, past 5 for the 9 days recitation. Shri Ramayana, Shri Ramayana, Shri Ramayana, Shri Ramayana.